From each happily ever after, every wish upon a star. Let's break down the movies that shaped who we are. From memory lane to now and everything in between. The most famous of films to the ones we've never seen. Decade by decade, all the times we laughed and cried. And with a little pixie dust, they will all take flight. Reliving the feelings, and we're trying our very best. And if they mean the same to you, please be our guest. So hop aboard, we would love to have you as we hang with a certain mouth, the whole gang too. If you love nostalgia stuff, we hope this does the trick. Thanks for joining us as we deep dive the magic.
Hi, and welcome back to the Deep Diving the Magic podcast. I'm KJ.
And I am Jeffrey, and we are back today with Deep Dive number 145 of the 145th Disney feature-length film from June the 25th of the year 1980. That's right, for those following along, that is the exact same day as the most recent film that we watched before this, because Disney loves to do that. But Deep Dive number 145 is on a film called The Last Flight of Noah's Ark. Disney feature-length film number 145, The Last Flight of Noah's Ark, is based on a story, The Gremlins Castle by Ernest Gann. And that's all I got. We don't have any familiar faces or anything, but would you like to start us off with a synopsis about film number 145, The Last Flight of Noah's Ark?
When a plane carrying various animals makes a forced landing on a desert island, the only chance to escape is to convert the plane into a boat.
Yeah, and it took me an embarrassingly long amount of time to realize the animal thing and the Noah's Ark thing. Because the dude's name is Noah. So I was like, oh, that's just like what it is. It's an airplane. But whatever, we'll get there. I had never heard of this before. Not many have, I can highly assume.
But there were some familiar faces. Not from the film we've already seen.
Because Ross Geller's father is here?
Yes, but he was also in other things that people would have known that you've been mentioned. I didn't write it down.
Oh yeah, like MASH and stuff.
Yeah.
But so clearly you've never seen this either, because we had talked about it or heard about it. But would you like to start us off with any trivia or opening facts or any of that fun stuff?
Yeah. Well, maybe I
Save
should
it. That's fine.
do mine at the end, but
Alright.
it's kind of mess everybody up, I think.
Spoilers from
Well,
1980.
other than it is one of a number of Disney films made about castaways, which include 1960 castaway film Swiss Family Robinson that we went over.
That's good.
1962 Search for the Castaways.
That was a good film.
Shipwrecked.
Remember that good film? I liked that film.
Shipwrecked coming up in 1990. The Castaway Cowboy, which was 1974, and then this one being 1980.
Did we watch The Castaway Cowboy?
Mm-hmm. The guy got shanghaied and
Oh, okay.
was trying to teach them how to.
That wasn't kidnapped? I don't remember. Whatever.
No, he was trying to teach them how to take care of the cattle, and they were going to ship the cattle off so the woman could make the money off of it.
Oh, yes. We watched a lot of films.
Mm-hmm.
But are you ready to deep dive into...
And you thought I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. You ready to deep dive into film number 145?
Yes.
The Last Flight of Noah's Ark.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we start off with a man who is sleeping, and someone is aggressively knocking at the door. Some fancy dressed men break in, and we learn that the guy's name is Noah, but he doesn't like the name Noah. At least we're going by his last name, which I did not write down.
Dugan.
Noah Dugan. He owes a lot of money to these people. Noah Dugan, Mr. Dugan, owes these people money, and he only has 24 hours to repay the debt.
Yep.
So he is trying to get out of town as fast as possible, and he is trying to basically fly an airplane to get some money from this airplane.
A Boeing B-29 bomber, to be exact.
Yeah, like a very old, falling apart airplane. Like this massive airplane. But he wants to fly this airplane to get some money, but his reputation isn't great. But he ends up getting hired. and he is going to transport a woman who's like a missionary lady who is trying to bring these animals.
Bernadette.
She's trying to bring these animals somewhere. So he initially declines the offer, and they end up fighting over money, but then he begrudgingly accepts because he wants to flee the men that are trying to collect money. Again, it's a very old, past its prime airplane, and they're, like I said, they're going to transport a bunch of animals to a mission on an island.
Mhm.
Right? Cool.
Yep.
There is two children that decide that, like orphans or whatever, that they decide that they're going to join the flight as well, and they climb aboard the airplane just as it's warming up to take off. Want to talk about the children? Anything?
They snuck their way on, and I thought it was hilarious that the lady in charge of watching all of the other orphans discovered that she was missing two children when the plane was taking off, and the children are in the back in a window just waving at her, and she's waving at them like, "Oh no, oh no."
Yeah.
That was pretty humorous.
Yeah.
And then she tries to
Stop them.
stop the plane, and then the missionary lady Bernadette is like, "Oh, they're waving us goodbye." No, no, no. They're trying to stop you because you have two other kids.
Speaking of the airplane, the old airplane has quite the hard time taking off. It's like driving in circles, but it does successfully take off because it's being pursued by the money men. And then the plane flies through the air, and that's when we finally get the opening credits. That's a long opening credit.
Mhm.
Okay. They argue during the flight. They argue a lot, and but the plane isn't doing great. They argue over who's flying the airplane because I guess she has some sort of experience. It's just they're arguing. This dude's smoking a cigar. She's not into it.
She's listening
She's
to
listening to classical music. He's not
Mozart.
into it. Whatever. The kids end up revealing themselves. They all end up stopping arguing long enough to watch the sunset. But watching the sunset, they realize it's on the
No.
wrong.
It was when the sun rised. That's when they realized it came up in the wrong spot.
All right, so they all stop to watch the sunrise. And during watching the sunrise, they realize that the sunrise is on the wrong side of the airplane and they are going the wrong way.
Because her
Tape recorder.
tape recorder that she was listening to classical music messed up their navigation system.
So they are flying off course. And of course, they've wasted a bunch of fuel going the wrong way and they don't have a lot of fuel. So the missionary lady and the kids, they end up praying because they are all afraid that they're going to crash. The pilot continues to be angry and they are quickly running out of gas. Stressful. But the young boy's like, why don't we just land over there? And the guy's like, land over where? And the kid's like, there's an island right there. So they spot an island and they have an emergency crash landing, but they're all safe on this island.
With two engines.
What
Two engines
could go
left
wrong?
out of
Yep.
the four engines because, they were
Yep.
running out of gas.
Yep. After more arguing, they decide that they're going to work together on the island to take care of the animals and themselves. They, however, are not alone on this island. Want to talk about who's on this island as well?
So there are two elderly Japanese soldiers who are known, we find out later, as Cleveland and Hero. And they have been there stranded since World War II and they're not aware that the war has ended yet.
Yep, they think the war is still going on because no one ever told them to come back for them.
Yeah, they've been stuck there for 35
years.
5 years. Yeah, there you go.
People think that the war is still going on, so this scares the group of people. They all end up hiding in the airplane because they have weapons and stuff.
And the soldiers also look at them as suspicious because they think that the war's still going on, and obviously they don't look Japanese, so.
But they end up having this fight, and it's very awkward. Nothing is going right. The hand grenades aren't going off. The bullets, it's just whatever.
The guns
It's just
backfire.
Awkward fighting scene. But the lady, I don't know what her name is. I just call her
Bernadette. Because he calls her Bernie.
She's going to try to make peace with the villagers.
Because that's what she does as a missionary.
That's
Which
true.
I guess Dugan didn't take that into account because he was very against her going off and doing this.
There's some stressful communications, but they end up making peace and friendship, much to Dugan's shock. They all talk about how the war has ended and how everyone got there. How the guy's name's Cleveland because his parents left Cleveland.
They visited the United States in the 1920s, and his mom's favorite city in the entire place was Cleveland, so that's why she named him Cleveland, and taught him first class English.
Yeah.
But
This,
what are the the likelihoods that you're going to into a deserted island? There's going to be two Japanese soldiers that have been there since the end of World War II and have no idea the war's over, and one of them just happens to speak your language.
okay, there you go.
What Disney magic have we conjured this time?
Bernadette and Dugan end up admitting that they care for each other and they have a very awkward kiss. They probably haven't brushed their teeth in a long time, but whatever.
Always your thing.
Um,
Castaway films and people
Yeah.
stranded.
the locals warn them that they have to get off the island because no one has come to try to save those men for 35 years, so like not to stick around.
Yeah.
They all work together to basically they make it as plan that they have to flip the boat over or flip the plane over
And turn it into a boat.
to turn it into a boat. So they all work together to destroy the currently broken plane and use the parts for the escape for flipping the plane over upside down.
Mhm.
They use the animals' help, of course.
Mhm.
And they are working on sewing a large sail so that they could sew, and they use the locals' old war flag
hmm
for that.
And they put it at the top of their sail for respect.
They built quite the contraption, but they admit that it's too dangerous with all the animals on board, causing more fights because the kids are all about the animals. Dugan ends up having a change of heart, and he allows the animals to come with them. He then sees that Bernadette is painting the word Noah's Ark on the ship, which is when it hit me about the animals. Because you get it, animals.
Yep.
And she loves the Bible, so it makes sense. The journey then,
Did you just forget that his name was Noah?
I mean, I don't know.
Or you just didn't think about it?
Noah's Ark made sense. The animals didn't make sense. Whatever.
Okay.
The journey sets sail on this massive ship. The locals end up swimming out to meet them because they wanted to blow up their stuff first.
Mhm.
Everything is blown up on the island because they're going to leave the island and they're going to leave nothing. And their journey ensues. Right?
Yep.
We're up to date. We're good. And then randomly, this lady's like, "Oh, well, Noah's Ark, and I read the Bible, and in the Bible they send doves to send messages, so we're gonna send this duck."
Yeah.
So they decide to send a duck with a message for hope for rescue,
Mhm.
because Noah's Ark, but the duck flies in the wrong direction. But they keep the faith and the hope and everything. The duck is flying in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Right.
Dugan says that the duck is
But
flying towards Chinese, because he said that duck is currently flying towards China, not Hawaii.
Yeah. Rations are running super low. They're causing a bunch of stress. This film goes into stress mode super fast, including that there's a large shark that has decided to join the film cast, scaring the children.
As they're trying to fish, so it's scaring
Yeah.
away all the fish.
Yep.
And they've eaten all their food, so they're basically on their rations.
Yeah, and that explains why there's no more fish because there's this terrifying shark.
Mhm.
They stressfully try to catch the shark, which you could tell by the stressful music that's playing. Bobby, the little kid, ends up falling in the shark-infested water, and Dugan dives right in to save him, or become the shark's dinner.
Mhm.
There's some more intense music that plays.
But not Jaws.
I wrote down that clearly they've seen Jaws. So there's a bunch of intense music because Disney's known for its happily ever afters.
Mhm.
Clearly, these directors have seen Jaws a couple years before, but they're able to rescue the kid. He's very scared. He's very wet, but he ends up getting yelled at by Dugan because
He just doesn't listen.
yeah. But then he goes down and talks to the boy to check up on him and apologize. So it's got to change of heart. But the crew is continuing to deal with their grief.
Mhm.
They're trying to be hopeful, but and it wouldn't be a Disney film without it. That's right. There's a very intense Disney storm.
Mhm.
The boat is getting knocked all around, and the crew is continuing to bond together through the stress, but the ship is falling apart due to the rough waters. Because again, happily ever after.
Mhm.
They end up surviving the storm, but one of the animals is very sick, like a mule or whatever.
It's like a huge bull.
Oh, well, okay. The bull is very sick, and that's like the kid's like favorite. So Dugan is tasked with shooting at it, but the boy Bobby is just tearfully against it and trying to stop him. Um, the movie gets really sad. Like it got real, it got sad. Anything about that?
It got really sad, but then one of the Japanese guys, Hiro, he had in little clips throughout the film had kind of started to bond also a little bit with the kids. And at one point, one night when they're just sitting around, he opens up a cloth that he had in his pocket and opens it up and shows the little girl pictures of his son when he was little and him with his son, which he obviously hasn't seen in 35 years. So this guy's probably like a grown adult now, and he hasn't seen his son. So obviously he makes that connection with the kids, and then he sees how much it's affecting Bobby that Dugan is going to have to shoot the bull, which he doesn't want him to. So Hero takes the gun from him and then walks over and just kind of like puts his hand over on Bobby's head and like has a moment with him, like a father-son moment. Like, obviously they can't speak because Bobby doesn't speak Japanese. He doesn't speak English. It's Cleveland that speaks it. But Cleveland doesn't step in and they have this like moment of like body language and understanding. And right at that moment is when we hear a loud um, horn, and magically, because it's a Disney film, they do not have to shoot the bull, and the Coast Guard has found them.
Yeah, way to give a spoiler. Bobby Bobby has to say goodbye to Brutus, very sad. But then right before he can pull the trigger, the Coast Guard shows up, like you said, very
Yeah.
loudly to show that because the duck worked.
Yeah.
The duck worked.
And then somehow mysteriously the Coast Guard must have had a vet on board
Um,
or a doctor that knew what to do with a bull.
they loudly arrive to tow the destructed ship in safety,
Mhm.
and then it cuts to the couple getting married on their ark, and
Because it wouldn't be a Disney film without the two people that hated each other falling in love.
with some emotional music playing, and children celebrate.
Mhm.
The bull is also appears to be doing better as the
Way
end
better.
credits roll.
Yeah.
And that's all I got. And I will tell you this. I'll tell you a fact about this was the Disney company itself called this movie a $6 million write-off because of how bad it was. And I actually thought that it was kind of heartwarming and kind of charming. So
I have to agree with you also. I thought to myself, wow, this was way better than some of the other films that we've watched
it wasn't
that
great though, but
no, it wasn't great, but it was way better than what we had read going into it.
yeah, they
So
called it a write-off. So
I wouldn't say don't watch it. There's other films I would say that. Speaking of trivia facts, so there's a scene where Noah
I
is
thought you were I thought you were going to say trivia facts. This came out on a double bill with 101 Dalmatians. Like after
no,
you just segued after not watching a film. Whatever. Let's
no,
continue back to
no. So speaking of, uh, Noah during this film was corralling pigs into their pen at one point, and during that you hear pigs squealing, and that was actually reused sound effect from the movie that we hated so much, The Black Hole from 1979, when the evil robot Maximilian was getting uh, his chest drilled open by Vincent near the climax at the end of the movie. So we had some sound effects that were reused from a film that was terrible. Wait, did the black hole come out in 1980?
80? Yeah,
Was it
70.
the first one of the 80s or the last one of 79? I can't remember. Anyway, and this is also the first of two consecutive films that Elliot Gould made for Walt Disney Studios. The next one is in 1981, The Devil and the Max Devlin
Definitely.
in 81.
A couple more films until we get there. That has the ever so questionable cast of O.J. Simpson, but we'll get there
And it's pretty much all I had for facts. There wasn't a lot about it. Like you said, it was
on a double bill.
pretty much said it was a write-off and it wasn't that great.
Yeah, but you know what? It wasn't awful. It was kind of heartwarming. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
happy we watched it.
It wasn't as hard to follow as some of the other films that
Mhm.
we've watched.
What'd you rate it?
So, ratings. IMDb gave it a 5.7 out of 10. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah. Okay. And does it make your list upon a star then?
No, I did not save this movie for my list upon a star.
So then what is your list upon a star?
So, my list upon a star is The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, 101 Dalmatians, The Parent Trap, Sleeping Beauty, Dumbo, The Apple Dumpling Gang Rides Again, The Apple Dumpling Gang, The Strongest Man in the World, he's still holding on to this list, Napoleon and Samantha, and Snowball Express.
Yeah. This doesn't make mine either. But we watched it. It's okay. But mine is 101 Dalmatians, followed by number 2, The Rescuers, 3, Mary Poppins, 4, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, 5, Peter Pan, 6, Robin Hood, 7, Alice in Wonderland, 8, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, 9, Pete's Dragon, and number 10, still on the chopping block, is Babes in Toyland. But we did watch it. Add it to the list. We are firmly in the 80s, and these movies in the 80s have been kind of interesting. So, speaking of movies in the 80s, we are flipping over to film number 146, which is the final film of the year 1980. And it is also the debut of Robin Williams in a Disney film with the film called Popeye.
Mhm.
That is right. We are going to talk about Popeye next. But before that, you can find us on Instagram if you would like to come deep dive the magic with us. We are also, if you want to watch this in general, we are on Spotify and YouTube if you want to give us that thumbs up and those comments and all that jazz.
Subscribe.
Tell your friends. Thank you so much. Or if you want to write in about your favorite lists, deepdivingthemagicpod@gmail.com. But again, thank you so much, and we will see you next time for the final film of the year 1980, Popeye.
Thanks for deep diving the magic.
Bye.
Bye.